I bought this for 3,800. I'm pretty sure 3,800, 3,700, around there. And this is the perfect wheel ski bike. As you guys know, it's like a mini 450. Yo gang, what is up? It's your boy Liz, aka Motor Bro, and today we're going to be ranking my motorcycles from least expensive to most expensive, and we're also going to be talking about which bike is mandatory to have in your garage. So let's get into today's video. Y'all might have guessed it, but this is the least expensive bike in my collection, my Honda 50. Even though this is my least expensive bike in the collection, this is probably the most fun bike I have, just because it's so quiet. You can rip it around the neighborhood and you can just learn so many wheelies and combos on this little bike, and you don't really have to worry about getting hurt because it's freaking tiny, bro. And I bought this bike for $800. I bought it used, yes, but for $800, the amount of joy this bike has brought me is just insane. I would spend probably double that because the bike is so fun. And as you guys know, I like to keep my bikes pretty much all stock, OEM style. And yeah, this thing has probably thousands of hours on it, bro. But it's a Honda, so you don't gotta worry about it blowing up, bro. Like, this thing has seen one wheel more than it has seen two wheels, and it still rips like the day I got her. It is ridiculous. The Honda power is a thing, and it's legit. But moving up from the Honda 50, we got the next bike, which is my Thumbstar 250. Man, this thing is flipping nice, bro. It's still like brand new. Don't got too many hours on it. But this is like the perfect trail bike. Literally, or even like a new rider bike. Like, if you're a new rider and you want to get into the bigger motorcycle styles, this 250 is the perfect bike for you because it doesn't have too much power, but it has enough power to get you through anything. And brand new, these bikes are around 3,500, which isn't too crazy for a 250. It is air cooled. So as you can see, it is air cooled, so that means it is indestructible. It will never blow up. At least that's what they told me. But no, like, air cooled motors are pretty much indestructible. It takes a lot to blow them up. And especially, this isn't really a race motor, so there's not much maintenance you gotta do. And for $3,500, like, you really can't beat it. It's a full-size dirt bike pretty much. It does have 18-inch in the rear, but besides that, it's a full-size dirt bike, and it flipping shreds. So for around $3,500, you can get yourself this beautiful Thumbstar. But in the back, going up a step, I got this bike for $3,800. And this is a Honda 150R. That stands for racing because we're real racers out here. But yeah, I bought this for $3,800. I'm pretty sure 3,800, 3,700, around there. And this is the perfect wheel ski bike. As you guys know, it's like a mini 450. This thing pulls up every gear. The rev limiters just sound insane. Watch this clip. You let me know another 150 that sounds like that when it's rev limiting. When it's hitting the rev limiter. There's no other bike that sounds like that. It's just, this bike is one of a kind. And it's that Honda power, so it's gonna take forever to blow up. But we'll give you a little 360. So this is a 2018 Honda 150R. She is looking clean and pretty. And I haven't really had no issues with it at all. Like, sometimes she's a pain to start up, but that's just like a 150 thing. When the 150s are cold, they are a pain to start up. Like, it's terrible. Sometimes it'll start third kick, sometimes it'll take 10 kicks. But with a little valve adjustment, that'll probably help too. But I probably have maybe 100 hours on this bike that I did. Like I said, I bought it used for $3,800 or $3,700, something like that. And she's still kicking. She is still kicking. As you've seen in the rev limiter video, she hasn't blown up yet. I don't know how, but it hasn't. Personally, I like to get most of my dirt bikes used just because I know I'm gonna go through them like crazy and, you know, tear them up. So I'm like, I don't really want a new dirt bike because then I'm gonna be like super careful with it. And when you're doing wheelies, you really don't want like that feeling of having to protect your bike, if that makes sense. So for 3800, it pretty much looks brand new. Of course, it doesn't have OEM graphics, but everything else on the bike is OEM. So now from the Honda 150R, we go to the legend, the OG, Suzuki DRZ 400. And this thing is what started my channel. So here we have it, the OG Suzuki DRZ 400, which started my channel pretty much. Besides the pit bikes, I got this bike. This was my first street legal bike. Took it all around America, Europe, and hopefully some other places in the future. But I bought this bike for $5,000. $5,000, and it came with like 11 or 12,000 miles. Now it almost has 40,000 miles. So this thing is a flippin' tank, a trooper. It is just a dialed bike for adventures. I've never had any issues with it. Like, only thing I've had was a starter problem, like where it didn't want to start because the starter was messed up. But besides that, no issues at all. This is probably one of my most dialed bikes, and it's the oldest bike, and it has the most miles. Give you guys a little 360. Man, she still looks good, bro. So this is a 2009. I don't even know if I mentioned that. This is a 2009 DRZ 400. And yeah, bro, I will never sell this bike. I could sell all my other bikes, but this is the one bike which I will have to keep forever just because the memories. Like, the amount of shit me and this bike have gone through is just ridiculous. One thing to mention, I got arrested in Switzerland on this bike. Like, that's just one little part of the story of this bike. Like, there's so many things that have happened with this bike. It is just mind-blowing. And I'm just so thankful Suzuki made a DRZ 400 because this is what sort of started everything for me. Like, besides the pit bikes, this bike literally started my street adventures, if that makes any sense, or my Supermoto adventures, if you remember those videos. And for $5,000, like, you can't beat it, man. Like, you got a full street legal bike, 400cc. It is just incredible. But going from this, we go to the big 450, the YZ 450F, my 2020. Yes, I have 2022 plastics on it, but it is a 2020. And this bike right here is starting to have a special place in my heart. Just like the DRZ 400, I have a lot of memories on this, you know, just ripping around in the streets. Even going down, bro. Like, I've gone down on this bike pretty hard. The 450 power, it is no joke, but it is a dialed bike. It is so smooth. It starts up every time. Like, watch this. I'll start it up right now, and it's right away. It'll go. All right, let's see. See what I'm saying? It always starts. The Yamaha always flipping starts, man. You're probably wondering, yo, how much did you pay for this bike? And I paid $7,000 for this big old 450, and it came with about, I think it had 30 hours on it. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, the 450 came with about 30 hours. Now it almost has 100. So I've definitely put some hours on it. But the thing is, of having multiple bikes, you sort of spread the hours around. So like, that's why I feel like I haven't blown up a bike, because like, I'll ride the 450 one day, then I'll hop on the 150 one day, then maybe the DRZ, even, well, not really the DRZ, I don't really ride that too much. But out of these two, I'd be flip-flopping, if you feel me. And you might be wondering, yo, Lars, didn't you have a two-stroke? Didn't you have a YZ125 two-stroke? What happened to that? And well, I'm sad to say, but I sold it. I sort of regret selling it because that was my first two-stroke I've ever owned. And like, I like keeping my bikes. Like, if it's my first bike I've ever owned, I like to keep it. But yeah, the two-stroke was just getting clapped out, and I rode other people's two-strokes, like the newer versions, and it just felt so much better. Like, the power band and stuff just felt better than my my '06 two-stroke that I had. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna sell it, and eventually we'll get like a 2021 YZ125. But as you see, that hasn't happened yet. But in the future, be counting on it, because it's coming. And if y'all are wondering, like, yo, how much was that two-stroke? I bought it for around the same price as my Honda 150. So I think it was around $3,800 or $3,700. And it was a 2006 YZ125. And I ain't gonna lie, for an '06, that bit kicked. Like, the tune on it was nice, but it just started to get to a point where I was like, dude, I need to get a newer one eventually. So I sold it, and I just haven't pulled the trigger on getting a new one yet. So maybe in the future, we'll have another two-stroke and we could be ripping around. She is still looking very clean, except when you get to this rear section, because I went down and a homie went down on it. And the exhaust looks flipping terrible. I ain't gonna lie, that looks rough. This whole back rear fender area, as you can see, look at that, bro. It's freaking, there's a hole in the fender, bro. It's rough. But I mean, that's bike life. You're gonna go down. And that is why I buy my bikes used, is like, I would hate if I had this brand new bike and I went down on it. Like, that feeling would just be terrible, because you're spending 12, 13, maybe even 14K to get a brand new bike out of a dealership, especially like a 450. So I'm saving a lot of money, and I know I'm gonna go down on it. I know it's gonna go down eventually. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when with these bikes. So, but besides that, even with all the going down on the bike, she still starts up right away, like no issues at all. These bikes are flipping strong, man. So there we pretty much have it. The YZ450F 7000, the Honda 150R 3800, the Thumbstar 3500, the DRZ 5K on the dot back in the day, back in like 2016, and my freaking baby, the little 50. $800. $800 for this beautiful piece of joy that can bring you so much joy. And then, of course, these aren't really motorcycles, but we got my Subi and my dream car, the beautiful baby red, baby driver, whatever you want to call it, '06 WRX. God damn, that bit is so pretty. God.